Before there were ghosts, before there were vampires, there was nothing. And before there was nothing, there were the real monsters. They filled the mind of early humans with fear. And in the spirit Halloween, let's talk about the monsters that our ancient ancestors had to face on our journey around the world. In Australia, Thylacoleo, quincana, and Megalania, being the apex predators, would not pass up on a few Homo sapiens, and they would make light work of us too. The Thylacoleo could ambush and instantly sever the windpipe. Quincana's thick scales and speed would make taking down a determined one a real challenge. And even if the Megalania did not practice mobbing, fighting a 6-meter Komodo dragon would still be a tall task. And as I have previously made videos dedicated to all of them, I won't spend too much time on it. But next to Australia, there was New Zealand, home to the largest eagle to ever soar the sky. It was the Haast eagle, or Hiera aetus more. This ancient eagle was the apex predator of New Zealand. When the Maori people arrived, it would have hunted moas, the giant flightless bird that weighed over 200 kilograms. Of course, the eagle wouldn't have shied away from occasionally hunting a few humans, especially children. The Maori have a legend describing a giant bird of prey called pokai. This is believed to be vestigial from when the Haast eagle was still flying in the sky of New Zealand. Let's continue at the genesis of humanity. Africa. The genus Homo first evolved in Africa and only later migrated into Eurasia. Here, lions, leopards, and hyenas have existed since the appearance of Homo erectus and even earlier. They did not differ significantly from the current day. But lurking in the waters of what is now Kenya was a species of crocodile that far surpassed the modern Nile crocodile. Crocodylus thorbjarnarsoni. This absolute unit clocked in at almost 8 meters. And for reference, the largest saltwater crocodile ever discovered was barely over 6 meters. And considering the scarcity of the fossil record, it is unlikely that we have even seen the maximum size for them. While direct evidence for human predation have not yet been found, Alex Hastings, a graduate student in vertebrate paleontology, has proposed that Thorbjarnarsoni may have been so big that it did not leave much remains to be fossilized. The closest relative to the monstrous Thorbjarnarsoni is believed to be Crocodylus anthropophagus, or the human-eater crocodile. Living in what is now Tanzania, it definitely lived up to its name. Anthropophagus was not much smaller than Thorbjarnarsoni. But unlike its relative, we have found evidence of bite marks of Anthropophagus on human fossils, with one caveat, is that all of the bite marks were from smaller specimens, further supporting the theory that Alex Hastings proposed. The water wasn't safe, and neither was the ground, as shown by the discovery of the tongue child, the skull of a 3-year-old Australopithecus, likely one of the closest relatives to the genus Homo, if not our direct ancestor. The skull was found in the nest of a large unknown species of eagle, among with eggshells and other animals' bones. The skull showed damages from talons of a large bird of prey, meaning the tongue child was likely hunted for food. Next up, we will visit the massive Eurasian continent. Humans migrated out of Africa around 60 to 70,000 years ago. We then moved into Europe and Asia, There, we were greeted with some familiar faces that you would recognize today: tigers and leopards. The first tiger first evolved close to 2 million years ago in Asia, and the leopard migrated out of Africa over 500,000 years prior to us. Here, early humans continue to be preyed on by these big cats, and while even an experienced tiger wouldn't dare jump into a human settlement, they would ambush and snatch up a human every now and again. Even worse was when a human is lost in their territories. That's a story with a gruesome ending. Other than leopards and tigers, we would still need to watch out for another big cat, the Eurasian cave lion, or Panthera spelaea. These lions were considerably larger than their African brother, but just like the modern-day lion, they also hunted in prides. The cave lion would have competed with humans for prey, and likely wouldn't hesitate to kill us if given the chance. Aside from the cave lion, there was also the cave hyena, Crocodylus spelaea, a species of hyena that was 60% larger than the modern spotted hyena. Like the spotted hyena, they would have loved crunching on bones. Whether from a deer or human hunter didn't really matter. Another cat the early human in Eurasia needed to worry about would be the Homotherium latidens, or the scimitar cat, considered to be the most successful carnivore during the late Pleistocene. Unlike other members of the Felidae, Homotherium is known for their hyena-like posture and hunting style. Using stamina and endurance, the scimitar cat would run its prey into exhaustion. These impressive hunters would have occasionally predate on humans as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of the globe, around 23,000 years ago, humans first arrived to North America through the Bering Land Bridge from Asia. Late Pleistocene North America was an ecosystem brimming with diversity, and that, of course, included the predators as well. And just like our first migration into Eurasia, we once again met an old foe: lions. But these aren't your typical lions. No, they were the biggest big cat to ever live. The American lion, Panthera atrox. They were even bigger than the cave lion of Eurasia, with the size closer to a grizzly bear than a lion. Encountering a pride of them alone was probably one of the worst nightmares of our ancestors. Living alongside the American lion was the famous Smilodon fetalis, or the saber-toothed cat. Its size was comparable to a lion, but much more robust, like those of bears, with the muscles built for grappling giant herbivores of North America to the ground. Armed with 28 centimeters long blades for teeth, they would have used it to deliver the finishing blow. Seeing them in action would be a magnificent yet horrifying sight to behold. But the largest of the North American predators was undoubtedly Arctodus simus, or the short-faced bear. This behemoth of a bear was over 1.6 meters at the shoulder and around 3.4 meters tall when rearing up. With the weight of 800 kilograms, the bear was the most fearsome creature of the time. While it was an omnivore, it wouldn't have passed up a fresh kill that it got a whiff of, using its keen sense of smell. Facing this giant was probably a hunter's worst nightmare. Living from as far north as Alaska to as south as Mexico, nowhere was safe from it for early humans. Moving into South America, humans would come face to face with those same faces in the north, like Smilodon populator, which was closer in size with the American lions than its southern counterpart, and the last species of the genus Arctotherium, like Wingei, Monariense, and Tarigense, which were smaller than the northern Arctodus, but more carnivorous and robust. Nowadays, only a handful of animals would actively hunt humans, like lions, tigers, crocodiles, and polar bears. Even then, attacks are very rare, but some have become man-eater. First, we have the Champawat tiger, which killed over 430 people in Nepal and India because she was not able to hunt her natural prey due to her broken teeth. Next is another tiger, the Thak man-eater, which killed 4 people in eastern Kumar. The tigress was killed by conservationist Jim Corbett. Further analysis revealed that she had 2 old gunshot wounds, one of which has become septic. According to Corbett, this forced her to turn to man-eating. And we can't not talk about the Tsavo man-eaters, a pair of large lions that were responsible for the deaths of countless construction workers in Tsavo, Kenya in 1898. They were eventually killed, and the reason they turned to man-eating, according to the Southern African Wildlife College, was because of the rinderpest pandemic brought over by European settlers. As unfortunate as these cases may be, it is important that we don't see them as vicious, bloodthirsty monsters, but rather an animal on its last leg, with little to no option left. When a predator turns man-eater today, it's rarely a monster. It's a creature pushed beyond its limits by circumstances or by our own hubris. This will continue to happen the closer we encroach and destroy their habitats. It teaches us that we are not above nature, and like our ancestor, we too must learn to coexist with nature once again.